Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to talk to you today about a slightly different topic, the connection between building models and construction specifications. It's an area of the BIM industry that is underserved and open to a lot of discussion. In a typical design exercise, the designer works with a modeling tool to create a BIM model from which drawings and schedules will eventually be produced. At some point in the process, a spec writer gets involved to specify the qualities of products, materials, and processes using whatever model information and drawings that the designer chooses to share with them. It usually seems like there's a high wall between the designer and the specifier. The designer throws information over the wall and hopes the specifier can do something with it. The specifier may throw back occasional comments or opinions which the designer may or may not heed. We're introducing today Spec Edit. It's a tool that allows a specifier to use an open BIM model from Revit or from AutoCAD currently within his specification project in an effective manner and allows him to feed suggestions back to the designer in a controlled and traceable manner. And let me show you how this works. In this video, I hope it's running, you can see a Spec Edit project into which we will import a BIM model. Is that running? We can import multiple models. For example, if architectural, mechanical, and electrical were all in different model files coming from different parts of the design team, we would bring in all three models. Once imported into Spec Edit, it becomes just another asset for the spec writer. When he opens the model in Spec Edit, the user gets a view of the model that collects all the object types into their categories. Okay, the presentations aren't working properly. Sorry about that. The user gets a view of the model that collects all the object types into their categories: windows, doors, walls, and so forth. Selecting a category shows a table with the different types of that category. For example, a list of the doors, of the types of doors. A specifier is not concerned about the number of doors or their placement. Rather, he's concerned about the types of doors and their various properties. At the lower left, Spec Edit shows a list of the properties of those types. For example, dimensions, finishes, etc. Selecting any of these properties adds them to the table, thus showing the values of the property for each type. While many sections of the specification deal with products like doors and windows, other sections deal with materials such as concrete or wood. So Spec Edit is also able to display the various materials used in the model so the specifier can develop material sections of the specification. A model is never static during the design process, so Spec Edit allows the specifier to import an updated version of the model. Any changes in the model are color-coded in the display so that it is easy to see what changes happened. In this example, I changed the glazing material in one of the windows so that the category windows is highlighted in green along with the glass property, and in the table you can see the value that changed in the update. Models contain a lot of information about the building, and where that information is sufficient, Spec Edit can review that information and build a suggested specification. There are a number of options that the user can manipulate to control the process, but Spec Edit will build a list of the sections and organize the data in the model to use the list in writing the specification. The changes are kept in a copy of the model that is in Spec Edit, whereas the model changes by the design are marked in green or blue. These ones, as you can see, are marked in purple. Okay. Okay. These slides aren't working at all. Sorry about that. Sometimes a property in the BIM model has not been set or has been set incorrectly. The spec writer can enter values for these properties and return them to the designer. To do these, he exports the changes from Spec Edit to a file, passes the file to the designer, who can use the Spec Edit plugin to show those changes in the modeling program, either Revit or AutoCAD. He can review the entries and accept the ones he agrees with. This updates the model so it is in sync with the specs. The ultimate goal of Spec Edit is to allow the specifier to effectively and accurately produce a specification that matches the building model. There are markers throughout the display in Spec Edit to identify places where work is still required. But Spec Edit also has a project status command which analyzes the state of the project against the building model and produces a report that explains deficiencies. This allows the specifier to validate his work and also allows the building owner or architect to verify the spec is accurate with regard to the current building model. We've only a limited time in this presentation, so I don't have So I have not shown you how Spec Edit can be used to merge information from the model directly into the specification text. Rather, this presentation has been focused on the BIM aspects only. The Spec Edit is a very new product, and we're looking for building owners and architects who would like to work with it on a project and give us feedback. If you'd be interested in participating in the program, or if you'd like to see more Spec Edit, please drop and see us at our table in the display area. Thank you.